The suddenly postponed Kawasaki meeting has finally revealed the truth. Once again, the Chinese Communist Party is helping Iran attack the US military, and it may have even caused American casualties. Trump is furious. Meanwhile, the CCP has already tormented Chinese society to the point of collapse. Another vicious act of social revenge has occurred in Wuhan, resulting in heavy casualties. But on the other hand, an ordinary citizen has publicly slapped the CCP in the face with his own strength. Please continue to support my two channels, News Focus and Shepherd's Perspective. In the previous stages, there was a lot of disruption from internet trolls. This has had a significant impact in many ways. Both of these channels focus on current affairs, people's livelihoods, and giving a voice to ordinary citizens. So whether you donate to these two channels, subscribe, or simply like and share the programs, it is all a form of support for me. The content I talk about is all information that the Chinese Communist Party tries to cover up. Yet these truths are the prerequisites for change in China. That's why everyone needs to see these facts. Friends in mainland China can use a free, one-click circumvention tool to watch. It's convenient, safe, better than a VPN, and even more secure. The CCP can never block it completely. This one-click circumvention tool was developed by Chinese-American tech elites in the US. It requires no technical knowledge or prior experience with circumvention tools. Just scan the QR code on the screen with your phone's camera, and you can automatically bypass the firewall. Of course, I also hope that our friends overseas can join us in crowdfunding to support this circumvention method. In fact, supporting this project is helping our compatriots in mainland China. It can truly be considered a great act of merit. As for the donation link, I put it below each daily video program. You can donate as much as you are able to. For every $2,000 raised, we can generate 100 circumvention links, which means thousands upon thousands of friends in mainland China can browse overseas content around the clock without interruption. On behalf of our compatriots in the mainland, thank you all. Truth seekers, viewers of Shepherd Lee's Real Talk, hello everyone. Welcome to News Highlights. I'm Lee Muyang. Today is Tuesday, March 31st, Eastern Time, and Wednesday, April 1st, Asia Pacific Time. Trump was originally scheduled to go to Beijing today to meet with the CCP leader Xi Jinping. But on the 17th, Trump suddenly postponed his visit to China. So what happened a few days later? Trump announced the specific date for his visit to China would be May 14th. As for the reason for the postponement, Trump gave a high-sounding explanation at the time, saying he needed to focus on handling the war in the Middle East. The Middle East war is indeed very tense, but no matter how tense it is, for Trump, taking out 2 days of his time to visit Beijing shouldn't be a problem. Moreover, when Japanese Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi visited the US, Trump had plenty of time, so there is likely an important reason for his postponement of the China visit. It could also be a diplomatic maneuver. The Neue Zürcher Zeitung analyzed that the more Trump delays his visit to China, the more disadvantageous it is for Xi Jinping. After all, the Chinese Communist Party leader hopes to achieve long-term stability in US-China relations as soon as possible in order to save the Chinese economy that he has driven to ruin. At that time, the CCP stated that both sides were in consultation regarding the timing and related matters of Trump's visit to China. This kind of statement from the CCP is just another way of saying that no matter what, Trump must come. Their eagerness for Trump to visit China is extremely urgent. Trump puts on airs while the CCP wags its tail. What's the real story behind this? Now we finally have an answer. It's finally clear. The CCP has been providing Iran with the coordinates of US military forces and equipment, enabling Iran to attack US troops. Trump was furious with Xi Jinping's rogue regime over this. According to human intelligence sources, quoting an individual familiar with the intelligence but unwilling to be named. About 10 days after Operation Fury began, that is, after March 10th, the CCP began providing Iran with the target coordinates of US troops and equipment. The source pointed out that the White House was already aware that the CCP was supplying intelligence to Iran and speculated that this might be one of the reasons President Trump postponed his meeting with Xi Jinping. In fact, we all know that the CCP often operates this way, stirring up trouble behind the scenes, using others as proxies and confronting the United States. But this time, Trump was quite angry because this could have resulted in casualties among US troops. On March 12th in western Iraq, a U.S. military tanker collided with another aircraft. All 6 U.S. soldiers on the tanker, as well as the crew members on the other plane, were killed. It's unclear whether the CCP was involved in this incident or to what extent. However, the casualties among U.S. soldiers were truly unacceptable to Trump, who values human life. Renben Intelligence contacted the White House with this exclusive news, seeking to verify whether President Trump postponed the U.S.-Taiwan Association because of this. Postponed the U.S.-Taiwan Association. Spokesperson Wells responded with the following statement via email. Any information provided to Iran by any other country will not affect the success of our operations. Wells had previously given the same response to the Wall Street Journal's request for comment. However, the journal's reporter only reported on Russia providing intelligence to Iran at the time, without mentioning the CCP's rogue actions. Anonymous sources also pointed out that the CCP is actively gathering large amounts of intelligence on how the United States conducts military operations in order to prepare for a potential future conflict in the Taiwan Strait. Intelligence sources pointed out in their comments that this is a subtle yet significant shift in U.S.-China relations. The two rival nations, who are constantly monitoring each other, have moved one step closer to direct conflict. At today's briefing, U.S. Secretary of War Hexes made an extremely tough statement. He said that the United States is well aware of the CCP and Russia supporting Iran. When necessary, we will take measures to mitigate the impact or respond directly. In the official American context, respond directly usually refers to tough and direct countermeasures. These include both military and non-military options, which to choose depends on the situation. This is the first time in decades that a senior U.S. government official has publicly stated the intention to respond directly to the two rogue states, China and Russia. No matter inside or outside the system, China under the CCP has already been thrown into chaos by Xi Jinping. If the United States confronts the CCP head-on, then it's no longer a question of whether this foolish kid can carry 200 pounds of wheat for 10 miles without switching shoulders, but rather whether he should even be allowed to keep carrying it at all. Many viewers have given us feedback saying that while the Red Sea Cucumber Health Gel is effective, it's really inconvenient when it's often out of stock. Well, now the solution has arrived. The Red Sea Cucumber Health Gel has launched a customization service. This way, supply can be stabilized and you won't run out of stock. For friends who need long-term health maintenance, a custom order is the best choice for you. Not only does it ensure a stable supply, but there are also discounts. If you subscribe to the 60-pack custom order, you'll receive a complimentary box of ginseng and sea cucumber tablets. If you subscribe to the 30-pack custom order, you'll get a free Korean sunscreen. What I'm holding here is the 30-pack, so if you subscribe to this 30-pack, you'll receive the gift. With the Korean sunscreen, if you order the 60-pack, you'll also get the ginseng and sea cucumber tablets. And regardless of whether you order the 30-pack or the 60-pack, you'll receive an additional $10 voucher. For friends in mainland China, it's even more cost-effective. If you order the 60-pack, in addition to the ginseng and sea cucumber tablets, you'll also receive a whole 6-year-old honey black ginseng root. The more you buy, the more you get. If you need it, whether or not you choose the custom option, you can use my discount code XWKD to enjoy a 15% discount. This morning, a little after 10 o'clock, there was a social revenge incident on Chingsong Road in Wuhan. According to the police report, the suspect, Wu Mu, used a fruit knife to stab 4 people. None of them are in life-threatening condition. However, some netizens claim that 7 or 8 people were stabbed and several of them died. In a segment of surveillance footage, it shows that in just 7 seconds, the attacker used a fruit knife to stab 3 people in succession. He moved very quickly and was extremely ruthless. According to a shop owner at the scene of the incident, after the suspect's fruit knife disappeared, he ran into a shop, grabbed a box cutter, and continued his attack. But before he could attack again, he was subdued by several people. The footage shows a man holding a knife walking up to a roadside stall and stabbing a woman sitting next to the stall in the ribs. The attacker did not stop and continued walking forward. The woman who was stabbed immediately fell off her stool to the ground. Then she struggled to stand up. At the same time, the attacker walked toward a passerby and stabbed this passerby in the right side of the abdomen. He then continued walking forward while the stabbed passerby staggered twice in a row. However, he did not fall to the ground and immediately turned around to look at the attacker. At this moment, a female passerby seemed unaware of what had happened and continued to walk forward slowly. Just then, the attacker suddenly stepped forward. He stabbed the woman fiercely in the back, then continued walking forward. The woman who was stabbed also turned around nervously and stared at the attacker. In another video segment, it shows that 2 of the stabbed civilians had fallen to the ground. One of the women was lying on the ground with 3 people crouching beside her. One of them was a security guard in uniform, and another was an older woman who appeared to be helping to stop the bleeding. Not far from there, a man who had been stabbed was lying on his side on the ground. Then, the camera captured, just a few meters away, several people working together to restrain a bald man. At one point, the suspect, the bald man, had both of his hands pressed behind his back as he lay face down on the ground. One person was straddling him to keep him under control, while another man was crouching beside them, firmly holding onto the bald man's right hand with both hands. After an unknown amount of time, the police finally arrived. They quickly handcuffed the bald man, and then 2 officers escorted him away. However, as shown in the footage, until the end of the video, the 120 ambulance never appeared. A blogger named Wenyu commented in a thread that, under the Chinese Communist Party's ongoing cover-ups, indiscriminate violent attacks are finally starting to spiral out of control, just like the vaccine disaster. The Communist Party's much-vaunted, all-encompassing, round-the-clock surveillance system has become completely ineffective in preventing such unpredictable acts of violence before they occur. Wenyu pointed out in the post that anyone who acts this way is basically determined to die. That's why, when committing these acts, they have no scruples. In the face of violence, almost everyone is equal, unless you have special protection like a yellow jacket. If you have a police escort and blocked off traffic when you go out, that's different. Otherwise, everyone is treated the same. Not encountering such incidents is merely a survivor's bias. Wenyu went on to point out that this kind of indiscriminate violence is truly despicable. But in the current environment, there is no solution. The only thing ordinary people can do is reduce unnecessary social interactions and stay away from public places. Try to stay vigilant and maintain a high level of alertness. Yesterday, when I was discussing the major issue of the revenge attack with the loader in Beijing, I was saying that the evil Chinese Communist Party is the root of all problems. It is the primary source of the disease. If this poisonous root, the CCP, is not eradicated, all kinds of severe social issues will only increase and accumulate, and people's hearts will spiral out of control. And once people's hearts are completely out of control, society becomes truly terrifying. Next, let's talk about a very hot topic on the mainland, something everyone online is discussing. Jangu motorcycles participated in the top-level WSBK motorcycle races on the 28th and 29th. During the race at the Portugal stop, French rider Valentin de Bize rode the domestically produced number 5320222S motorcycle. He won the championship in both rounds. In the race on the 28th, Jangu motorcycles crossed the finish line with a 3.6-second lead. They defeated established powerhouses like Ducati and Yamaha, and on the 29th, continued their momentum to win the championship again. In this top-level international competition, those familiar with racing all know that in the past, this arena was dominated by American, Japanese, and European brands, and Chinese brands had never claimed the title. As a new domestic brand, Jangu Motorcycles winning a championship in this event has already made history. But Jangu Motorcycles winning the championship twice in a row has made people look at this Chongqing brand with new respect. Many netizens on the mainland are talking about it with great enthusiasm. If you open Weibo in mainland China, you'll see that Jangu Motorcycles is practically everywhere. And what followed was a surge in orders for Jangu Motorcycles. A staff member at a store in Hubei said that orders are now scheduled so far ahead that customers won't be able to pick up their bikes until the end of May. In addition, Jangu Motorcycles followers on Douyin have skyrocketed. Just yesterday alone, they gained 508,000 new followers. Jangu Motorcycles achieving such results truly makes people happy for them. At the same time, the qualities and humanity they have demonstrated are also deeply moving. Before earning this honor, Jangu Motorcycles had been established for less than 2 years, and as for Zhang Shui, she started out as a mechanic. Zhang Shui, who only has a junior high school education, learned to repair motorcycles in her early years, relying solely on her passion for motorcycles. Driven by her love, she explored and mastered core technologies such as engines, frames, and electronic controls. In 2006, when she was only 19, she heard that Hunan TV was filming a motorcycle-related project nearby. So she rode her motorcycle in the rain for over 100 kilometers to catch up. It was this persistence that opened the doors to a professional racing team for her. When the reporter who filmed that year recalled this experience, what stood out even more was Zhang Xue's indomitable spirit.
Less than 20 years ago, that year Zhang Shui only had 300 yuan in her pocket. She spent 40 yuan on gas, 200 yuan on gifts for her grandmother, and was left with just 8 yuan to go home. When we went to film Zhang Shui, we set out from Changsha at 7:30 in the morning, with the microphone off the highway, crossing mountains and ridges. It wasn't until after 4 in the afternoon that we finally saw her. After driving for 20 minutes, everything around was peaceful and quiet. What is this? This means we made the trip for nothing. After 2 days of coming and going, we were about to call it off. Starting from 7 o'clock, the university kept messaging me, constantly trying to prove themselves, asking me to give them another chance. They told me, if you leave, please let us know. Where are you staying? We want to know so we can come see you tomorrow morning. At that time, I said something to our cameraman. I'll film this. If things really turn out the way they said in their messages, then we'll just go along with it, sir. Let's see what the final outcome is. At that time, we had already discussed and agreed on everything. So from the moment they came out to block the door, everything was filmed secretly. Zhang Xue herself didn't even realize it. When did she finally catch on? It wasn't until we were already inside the shop, seeing the environment, and even when she took out her wallet. My first feeling was, this was really the first time I said something like this. I brought the grenade from Mayang, and now it's been filmed and brought back. I'll come back to find you later, see how your car and electronics are doing. Even when given time, you still stubbornly refused, afraid that I'd run off, so you followed us the whole way. I remember it was just after we left. There was a gas station that we hadn't filled up yet. The driver and I took turns at the wheel. If something happened to him, I would also be responsible. If I didn't manage to shoot a single scene successfully, I'd be in big trouble when I got back. And then, whoever you run into, nobody wants to take responsibility, right? No matter what, you just can't get him to go. Originally, our driver tried to shake him off first. He didn't want to take responsibility. But it's human nature. This kind of thing isn't a small matter. When we were about a third of the way there, we didn't see anyone. It just so happened there was a downhill stretch, and 3 construction trucks were coming from the opposite direction. There was a very sharp turn, and suddenly Zhang Shui appeared in our rearview mirror, scaring the driver half to death. Don't scare me like that. We took him to the small courtyard at the Mayang TV station, and I said, come on up. But after trying a couple of times, it still didn't work out. He said the place wasn't right, so we agreed to go to the best spot in Mayang, thinking the square would be better, but it still didn't work out. By then, it was pouring rain, and at that point, Zhang Shui was really discouraged. He was truly disheartened and really felt defeated. He was too embarrassed to invite us to a meal. The whole day, from morning until now, he kept dragging us around. The driver actually got really angry and said, you might as well just go listen to that tape. Honestly, what you said was pretty harsh, and it made us upset too. Let me put it this way. However sad you feel, just film it that way. After fixing things on the road a couple of times, I realized this young man really has it tough. I said, look, it's already past 4 o'clock, and there's still about an hour before it gets completely dark. Make the most of this time and go to the place where you're best at rolling. Honestly, it was at that moment in the fields that I made up my mind to finish filming and not waste any more time. Just this film. I won't work on any other films, because, as my friend said, what really comes through is that human touch, that desperate struggle, risking everything for the fight. Honestly, the car was kissing the ground while the person was flying through the air, rolling and crawling, falling twice. I told him, well, that's enough. You've fallen enough. Let's stop here. What else do you want to do? He said he wanted to go see his grandma, who lived right next door. When he got home and opened the door, it was still that same window, still broken and shabby. And at that moment, all my feelings of hardship came rushing back.
The reason I'm sharing Zhang Xue's story with everyone is because I saw in her that spirit of perseverance and also her very human qualities. As you all know, the Chinese Communist Party, which emphasizes falsehood, evil, and struggle, does not allow people to have humanity. That's why many Chinese people have become extremely cold-blooded and frighteningly extreme. But Zhang Xue has a strong sense of humanity, not just her indomitable spirit. She is also unafraid of authority, dares to speak the truth, shows filial piety to her elders, and respects life. After Zhang Xue's motorcycle became famous, mainland media began to swarm and interview the founder, Zhang Xue. Some people wanted to hear her thoughts and experiences after her success. Others wanted to use Zhang Xue's achievements to sing the praises of the party, but the straightforward Zhang Xue gave the CCP a resounding slap in the face.
During this entrepreneurial process, what kinds of support did Chongqing provide you in terms of policies, industrial chain, or talent? If you didn't have any at the time, should I tell the truth or lie? To be honest, none. Not a single cent.
Obviously, the reporter already had an answer in mind. The reason for asking this question was to get Zhang Hui to say the answer they wanted to hear, guiding her to sing the party's praises. But Zhang Xue did not pander or flatter. Instead, she told the truth. Chongqing did not provide a single cent of support. They didn't help at all. In fact, not only did the Chongqing authorities not help Zhang Xue, they even penalized him. And the punishment was because Zhang Xue stuck to his principles and respected life. Zhang Xue Locomotive has a clear rule. That is, consumers whose motorcycle driving experience is less than 1 year are not allowed to purchase the same model as the championship-winning bike, which is the 8200 R2 model. Because this competition-level motorcycle has a very high threshold for handling and can easily cause accidents. However, just because of this rule, some users believe that Zhang Xue Locomotive's regulation infringes on the right to fair trade. They filed a complaint with the market regulatory authorities. The local regulatory department determined that Zhang Xue Locomotive had unilaterally set restrictions, violating the consumer rights protection law, and ordered Zhang Xue to make corrections. They also warned that if corrections were refused, penalties would be imposed. So in the end, Zhang Xue's store was fined 10,000 yuan, but Zhang Xue did not change this rule. He responded by saying, "I accept the fine, but I cannot compromise on the safety bottom line. I just hope fewer people die." Alright, that's all I wanted to share with you today. Once again, I'd like to remind everyone that Shen Yun is currently on a world tour. Don't miss the performances happening near you. Friends in New York, if you don't act quickly, you might miss this year's shows. There are only a few days left, about 10 days or so. The tour ends on April 12th, so make sure to catch it while you can. For friends in North America, if you book your tickets online, you can use my exclusive promo code, my2026. This will waive your service fee, but you can only enjoy this offer on the official Shen Yun website. Stay tuned. Truth Shepherd brings you the facts. See you again tomorrow, dear viewers.